Her voice floated above the hum of the tires and the soft jazz playing low on the radio, the kind of music I always put on during long drives to keep things light, to pretend we were still okay. "Honestly, he's like a rescue dog," she said, almost laughing. "You feed him, he wags his tail. So easy to control." Then laughter. Hers was the loudest, sharp and careless. I kept my eyes on the road. The windshield was streaked with early autumn grime, the kind that turns light into a smear of gold and brown. My left hand stayed steady on the wheel. My right hand was clenched into a fist on my thigh, knuckles bleached white from the pressure. She didn't notice the silence that followed her words. Or maybe she did and just didn't care. When we finally pulled up to the resort, she got out without a word, slamming the door like I was her driver. "Don't forget to wash the sheets before I get back," she tossed over her shoulder. "They stink like you." I didn't respond. Just sat there, engine running. She disappeared into the polished lobby while I sat in 4 hours of silence on the way back. Silence gets loud when you fill it with realizations. We had been married 7 years. No kids, just 2 dogs and a plan, or what we called one. A life we said we were building, 1 cup of coffee at a time. She liked to talk about Paris, spinning dreams like silk scarves. She'd describe our future retirement. Wine on a terrace, evenings spent people watching, pretending we were the kind of couple who made it. I believed her, not because she was convincing but because I wanted it to be true. I worked. I fixed things. Made her coffee every morning just the way she liked it. I text her during the day with dumb questions just to feel her near. "How's your day going? Want anything for dinner?" Simple things. Normal things. But she stopped replying somewhere around year 3. I told myself it was stress. Deadlines. Hormones. Life. But the signs started to show. She began dressing up more when she went out. Lipstick on days when we had nowhere to be. A new perfume that didn't come from me. At first it was subtle. A call she didn't answer, a late night she couldn't explain. I asked once. She smiled like I'd told a joke and said I was being paranoid. I wanted to believe her, so I did. Until I couldn't anymore. 2 months ago, I found a receipt buried in the glove compartment of her car. A boutique hotel. 30 miles from her office. Paid in cash. The date and time were right in the middle of a Wednesday. No explanation followed because I didn't ask. I just started watching. Her phone began buzzing at night more frequently. She kept it face down on the table, like even the glow of the screen might reveal too much. She smiled when she texted, never at me. I could hear her laughing behind the bathroom door during showers. She never used to lock it before. The moment things broke entirely was the night I followed her. She told me she had a client dinner. I said okay and let her leave. Waited 5 minutes, then followed. No headlights. I stayed far enough back to be invisible but close enough not to lose her. She wasn't careful. Why would she be? I watched from across the street as she pulled into a quiet lot near that same boutique hotel. A man was already waiting, Paul. I recognized him from a photo she once showed me. Her colleague. Tall, loud, self-important. The kind of man who believed women were just trophies waiting to be collected. She got out of the car like she belonged there, smiled like she hadn't smiled at me in years, and climbed into his passenger seat without a second thought. I didn't cry. Didn't scream. I just watched. And then I started planning. Not revenge. Not destruction. Something quieter. An exit. I wanted her to feel it, what it's like to be tossed aside, to be made to feel insignificant. So, I did something she never expected. I opened a new account, something completely separate, and started shifting small amounts of money into it. Nothing suspicious, just little transfers that wouldn't raise an eyebrow. She never checked, not once. She still used the shared laptop to log into her email, never thinking to be cautious. So, I installed a keylogger, a screen capture tool. I had all the passwords within a week. The messages were the first thing I found. There they were, plain as day, texts, photos, plants. She called him real, said I was safe. The one that made my stomach twist was when she sent him a picture of our house. Soon, she wrote, it'll be his too. That was the moment. I didn't react. I didn't explode. I stayed calm, cool. I waited. And then I bought a recorder, the kind you don't notice unless you know exactly where to look. I started collecting everything. Texts, voice memos, screenshots, even printing out a few and mailing them anonymously to her parents. I sat with it, built up a file. Dates, times, recordings. I didn't want to rush. I was patient. After a week, I contacted our lawyer, told him about my suspicions. I handed over everything I had gathered. He told me I had enough to destroy her in court. For the first time in weeks, I smiled. It wasn't a victory yet, but I could feel it coming. The final step was the spa weekend. I offered to drive her, of course. She didn't even look up from her phone. That comment about me being a rescue dog was the last straw. I dropped them off and drove straight home. I didn't hesitate. I called a locksmith. I changed every lock in the house. I filed for divorce that same day, citing infidelity. I filed a temporary restraining order for harassment and verbal abuse. I had all the recordings to back it up. Then I got to work. I hired a cleaning service to deep clean the house, packed her clothes up and stored them in the garage. I froze our joint account, canceled her credit cards and forwarded all her mail to her office. I had to make sure there was no going back, no way for her to slip back into my life. I waited, the silence settling in. She came back that Sunday night just like I knew she would. She tried the key. It didn't work. She banged on the door, calling my name, her voice breaking through the silence. I didn't answer. I knew she'd be confused, desperate. Then she saw it, the ring on the doormat. No note, just the ring. That was it. That was all she was getting from me now. The next day she showed up at the house, eyes red, makeup smeared, her voice shaky. She begged, "Please just talk to me. I made a mistake." She was panicked, her walls breaking down. But I was calm. I stepped outside, but I didn't invite her in. I closed the door behind me and we stood there in the quiet. "I'm not your rescue dog," I told her, my voice low but firm. She blinked and I could see it then. The realization, the regret, too late. I wasn't blind to what she'd done. I was just patient. I'd known for weeks. She opened her mouth to say something but stopped herself. I handed her a thick envelope, divorce papers, court dates. "Don't be late," I told her. She reached for my arm, desperate, but I stepped back. "Don't touch me," I said. "You lost that privilege when you made me the punchline." She thought I'd bark. She thought I'd whimper. But I didn't. I wasn't the weak one. I wasn't the one who was easily controlled. I'd been loyal, yes, but not to someone who had no respect for me. Now I sleep in clean sheets. No more perfume masking the lies, no more noise, no more pretending. They say betrayal is an art, and I'd learned that. But revenge, that too is an art. And unlike betrayal, mine had closure. I made sure she saw the signature at the bottom of those papers. Because this time I walked away first.